Today, we're going to talk about something that affects pretty much all of us, the medicine in our cabinets. But this is a bigger story, one that ties together our national security and a global rivalry that could totally reshape healthcare as we know it. So let's get into it. Okay, let's start with a number. 80%. That's how many Americans think prescription drugs cost way, way too much. It's one of those rare things that just about everybody in the country can agree on. But here's the twist. What if the best answer to those crazy high prices comes from a place that a lot of people see as America's #1 rival? Yeah, that's the massive puzzle we're going to try and piece together today. To really get this, first we have to look at how things work right now. For decades, when it comes to discovering brand new, life-saving medicines, the United States has been, the undisputed champ. The U.S. biotech industry is an absolute powerhouse. It's known for pioneering science and giving the world these incredible new treatments. But all that amazing innovation, it comes with a seriously hefty price tag. We're talking billions in research, and then, of course, the final cost you see at the pharmacy. All right, now let's talk about the challenger in this story. China has jumped into the biotech game, but they're not trying to beat the U.S. at its own game of discovery. No, they're playing a completely different sport. And you can see it right here. These are two totally different philosophies. While the U.S. is focused on inventing the next big thing, like CRISPR, China is obsessed with efficiency, making the whole process of developing, testing, and making drugs incredibly fast and cheap. And look, this didn't just happen overnight. It was a very deliberate strategy, built over 2 decades. It really kicked off after the SARS outbreak, then got official with their Made in China 2025 plan. And the result? A system so efficient they can find patients for clinical trials 2 to 3 times faster than we can in the US. So how are they pulling this off? Well, it's a whole mix of things. You've got massive government backing, a giant talent pool graduating 4 to 5 times more medical students, a huge population for trials, and just streamlined systems that make everything cheaper. Like clinical trials are about 30% less expensive there. Now, here is where the story takes a really sharp turn. You'd probably think these two systems are fierce competitors, right? On opposite sides of the world. But the truth is, they are already deeply, deeply connected. Let me introduce you to a company called Wuxi AppTech. It's a perfect example of this Chinese model. Think of them as a one-stop shop for making a new drug. They can handle literally everything for their clients, from the earliest idea all the way to mass production. And get this. It is estimated that this one single Chinese company is involved in making or developing 1 out of every 4 medicines used in the United States. Let that sink in, 1/4. So who's hiring them? It's not just Chinese companies. We're talking about the biggest names in the pharmaceutical world: Pfizer, GSK, AstraZeneca. All these Western giants rely on companies like Wuxi AppTech to cut costs and get their research done faster. You can probably see where this is going. This reliance creates a huge dilemma. It pits 2 really important priorities against each other: our national security versus our need for affordable medicine. So, what's the U.S. government's reaction? Well, lawmakers have proposed something called the Biosecure Act. Basically, it would stop federal agencies from signing contracts with certain Chinese biotech companies, like Wuxi AppTech, because of these national security concerns. But okay, this isn't just some abstract political debate. It has very real consequences. Let's look at a new mRNA cancer vaccine from a Chinese company called Liken. It's a personalized therapy designed to wake up a patient's immune system to fight their specific cancer. Now look at the price tag. Similar cutting-edge treatments from Western companies can cost over $100,000. The Liken vaccine, they're planning to sell it for around $21,000. I mean, for a cancer patient, that is a life-changing difference. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? This single question just strips away all the politics and brings it down to a gut-wrenching human level. It's not about geopolitics at that point. It's about life and death. Okay, so this all leads to a really interesting, kind of provocative final idea. What if this whole us versus them competition, what if we're looking at it all wrong? Here's the alternative take. Instead of seeing this as just a threat, what if this wave of super fast, super affordable innovation from China is exactly what the U.S. system needs? What if all this new competition is actually the cure for our high drug prices? Of course, the first question that pops into your head is probably, yeah, but can we trust it? What about the quality and safety? It's a fair question.
There's this long-standing idea that the standards might not be as high, and that's a huge hurdle to overcome.
But there's a really compelling counter-argument. China's modern biotech industry was literally built by copying American best practices. A lot of their top scientists, they trained right here in the US. And here's the kicker. These drugs have to be good enough for 1.4 billion of their own people first. So any medicine that makes it to us is the best they can offer their own citizens.
So maybe the big takeaway here is this. Instead of only seeing a threat, maybe the US, whose own system can be incredibly inefficient, could actually learn something from China's insane success at making the process work better, faster, and cheaper for everyone.
And that leaves us with one final thought, a really big one to chew on. At the end of the day, in the race to help us all live longer, healthier lives, does it really matter who crosses the finish line first?